Now, let's go into Harry and Meghan. Let's talk about Harry and Meghan, seeing as they
must we?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we should. We've had... so they're back again. They've got a... Yes?
They've got a 6-part documentary. Now, this is not a documentary. This is a reality series. This is like the Kardashians, but more low rent. That's what this is. And guess what? For the audience out there, we've done you a favour. Paul Murray and I took one for the team.
I heard, yes.
And
Did you enjoy watching it?
No. I threatened to resign over it, but here I am. So we've watched the first 3 episodes and Gogglebox style made some comments about it, and you can find those on YouTube shortly. So that way you can get a flavour of what was there without having to endure it. But let's have a look at just how unlikable this couple are.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to realize this is a big deal. I mean, Americans will understand this. We have medieval times, dinner and tournament. It was like that. Like, I curtsied as though I was like... Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Like, was that okay?
I mean, really? Never mind her and that cringe performance, but there she is mocking his grandmother, mocking the entire institution she devoted her life to, and he just sits there and grins like an idiot. He looked uncomfortable. He didn't look like he was on board with that, but at the end of the day, he sat there and grinned like an idiot as she pretends that, oh, I had no idea meeting the Queen was a big deal and I had to curtsy, oh my God. And I just find the whole thing so utterly reprehensible. It's boring as well. That's the thing. That was one of the few points where you're like, okay, that was unexpected. Most of it is just banal. But
isn't this just Harry and Meghan, like, just milking out the last moments of care that anybody has about them?
I mean, what happened with Oprah interview? Why we got a 6-part series?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Now?
And it's like, oh, we just want our privacy, so please watch our 6-part Netflix series where, we've got cameras in there and, filming us have a little smooch in the kitchen. I mean, it's just so vile. And the stuff that he says, and clearly he's been, brainwashed and put up to this by...
Come on.
No, he has. The way he's been, absolutely brainwashed by this Svengali Meghan to turn against his own family, saying, essentially that he's the only one in the family who married for love, which is basically saying, oh, well, his brother married a commoner. Yeah. What is he even talking about? The problem with him is that he's just not that bright. He's dumb. He's a dope. This is why he's been tricked into this.
Yeah, it's not even trickery. She's not that bright. Neither of them are that bright.
Oh,
they're
both morons.
Dull. They're not. They're just boring. But they exemplify the whole kind of woke mentality. So long as you say you're a good and virtuous person, that's it. That's all.
Not
you have
only
to
are
do.
you good and virtuous, but you're a victim.
Yeah, you've got to be a victim.
We're a victim. And what better thing to be a victim of than, the royal family, this horrible institution responsible for colonialism and, they're all white people and it's just horrible, And so what better institution that screams establishment, old world that the left is trying to take down, but the monarchy.
She's supposedly infatuated with Diana, but they've missed the critical point about Diana, is that she went and actually did some good. She went out and investigated landmines and brought the whole issue of landmines to... What have they done? What have they actually done?
They took a private jet to an event where they talked about climate change.
And racism,
so
exactly.
Give them a medal.
Yeah,
so they've solved both those issues, and I think we should give them all sorts of credit.
Them credit
but
for
the one thing I want to take issue with you, James, is, and Rowan, you've done this as well, and it's a very popular opinion amongst folks, is that poor Harry... He's been bamboozled by Meghan
and all of this.
Well,
I think Harry's
that's
a
the gist of it. Well, yeah, but it's just like, she's to blame for this when he's around 40 years of age. He's not a child. He's the one who abandoned his family. That's his family.
Absolutely. No one's disputing
his
that.
Duty.
Yeah.
He was born, and I think a lot of this comes down to that. He's not going to be king. He resents being born second, and he's not ever going to be king. And that seems to be a something that he's not coping with. And then he talks about, that there is a hierarchy in the royal family. No kidding, Harry, really? What? I mean, some of the things that are massive revelations to him are just so self-evident that you think, I mean, what is that?
But I do look. It is true that obviously, he's his own mind. He's his own. Well, there is a mind there. But I mean, but he's his own person. He is a grown-up. He's over 18 years old. All of that. But it is also so clear to me that this is a very controlling relationship, on her part. And that she has worked, and people out there will have seen this happen, with their own friends, with their own families, where somebody has hooked up with the wrong person who has separated a person from, everybody that they have.
Friends.
Yeah, and because they want to, have this person all to themselves. They say, oh, these people are bad for you. I'm good for you. He comes into this with, obviously hurt, trauma, damaged his mother, everything else, and she says, I can fix you. These people are the reason why you're all screwed up. Turn away from them, turn to me. And he's dumb enough to fall for it.
And Peter Ford, who's a fantastic entertainment reporter who made the point that there's a bit of Norman Bates about this whole dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Because he seems to see his mother and her struggle and ordeal in Meghan, even though
that's
it is very
That's
clear
the point.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the biggest fraud of the whole lot. That's a
exist
fantasy.
at all.
There are a couple of fantasies. They're boring.